Recording.
Quick mic check, Brandon.
Yep, you're good, Fran.
Thank you. Please stand by, everyone. The call will begin in 1 minute. Okay, today's call is starting right now. It's 11 a.m. I hope you guys all had a happy 4th of July. I had a great 4th of July. It was fun. We had the whole family out and about, and we can see fireworks. We've got a ranch up on the hillside here in an area called La Cresta of Murrieta, California. So we're,
Go.
well, can you mute them, Brandon?
Just the one that he answered when we were all here. So
Steve muted me. Okay, let's try that again. We had to mute people, although it's interesting to hear what they have to say. So anyway, we had a great 4th of July. I hope you did too. Let's get started. This is the continuing ongoing training for Client Creator. Now, someone asked me the other day, well, how many training calls are we going to have? Is it just going to be a few? And we're actually going to go for 10 training calls, 1 a week for quite some time. We want you guys to know how to use every facet
Oh, that's for me too.
of this incredible system, because you cannot outgrow it. And once you know how to use all facets of it, believe me, it will do more things than you can imagine. If you learn how to use all these things, you won't have to pay for all these other subscriptions to pieces of what you need, like one for email, one for lead generation, or whatever the pieces are that you're buying. That's one of the main reasons that 10 years ago, I put this system together. And for 10 years, every year, we update all of the technology. That's why on our magic button in the CRM, it's the finest, newest technology that you can get, where it finds all the phone numbers, all the email addresses of each of your prospects. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it over. This is going to be part 2 of the CRM. And I'll, Brandon.
Yep, you there, Ran?
I am.
Okay, so I'm just shared my screen, so I am going to continue on to the CRM. But again, we get this question a lot, so I do want to cover it. For those that miss it or want to locate it again, or maybe you have a friend that missed it, you go right into your video library, and under the section for Zoom, it will have all of your Zoom meetings. It'll have the previous ones, and after this one is done, it will also have that one. It takes a couple of hours for it to get uploaded and formatted, but it's usually available by the end of the day. So that's where you locate any of the recordings, and they're good for refreshers as well if you want to cover it again. If I move too fast sometimes.
Hey, Brandon, will
Yep.
you also show them in our video library where they can get previous Zoom calls? I know a lot of people are chomping at the bit and they want to move faster than we do.
Sure. If you go into your webinars right here, you'll see all of the webinars. And then if you really want to go through all of them, there's archives right here. You can pull up all of the archives and it'll load all of the previous videos and information that's available in your account. So that'll show all of the archives that are available. But if you do want to get ahead, this is our training videos. They're not all Zoom calls, but they go through each of the sections of Client Creator. So if there's a specific area that you're working with that you want to learn how to use, this is probably the best way to learn it, because we have all of the systems in place here to go through each thing, from the lead capture pages to the email and text campaigns. So your webinars will be the best place for you to view. Okay, so I'm going to go into the client manager. Last week we had a glitch where Zoom was blocking my connection to go out to retrieve information. Obviously, if you use the account and use the lookup, you'll see that it was working fine for you, but just for Zoom, it was having a problem looking up the information. So hopefully you had a chance to go in and test that and see that that it can pull up information for your clients. But I went through some of the primary features on on your CRM last week on what you should do right after you get a lead and to get the information. So those were the immediate things that you should do once you're notified of a lead in your system to just generate the additional contact information, social media information, phone numbers, etc. But now I'm going to dive into some of the more details and bells and whistles that the client creator system has.
Before you do that, let me just piggyback on what you're saying about follow-up. The one thing that you want to do whenever you get a seller lead, whenever a seller lead is generated, you want to get your pre-listing package in their hands within 24 hours, if at all possible. And the reason for that is it separates you from everyone else. No one else is going to do it, and it has shelf life. In other words, they don't just throw it away when it gets to them. Whether you mail it, have it delivered, or email it to them, they hang on to it. Especially, I think the best way to do it is to have it delivered. I have 2 young ladies that do all of our deliveries of my pre-listing packages, and we deliver a lot of them because I don't mind the cost, because it has such good shelf life. Other friends come over and they look at it too, and they go, "Oh, where'd you get this?" And it's one of those things that just for some reason they don't throw away. And I have people call me a year later, 2 years later, say, "You sent us a brochure a long time ago, and now we'd like to talk to you about selling." It's incredible. Most of the time I have no competition. Now, for buyer leads, you want to send buyer leads part 1 of your buyer pre-sale package. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I presented these items to you at the event, but look in your download. In addition to that, in your download, there's actually 3 pre-listing packages. All 3 are completely different for different types of people. And they're shorter than the one that I showed you, because I always want to give you more than enough to draw from. So look in your download that you should have already gotten. Okay. All right, Brandon, sorry, go ahead.
No worries at all. Okay, so on your main client manager page, we're going to go through the different options. Some of these are pretty basic, but I do want to go through them and just show you where everything is located. So we're at the CRM, and if you see this little menu option here, you click on that and it has a little slide out. So this is going to be on your client manager, your home screen. So if you want to add a client, you're just going to basically manually add in a client. You're going to click on here and put their information in. Brings up the simple form for you to fill out to put their information in, and that'll add a client into your CRM. The current client types, we're going to click on that, and it's going to show you all of the client types that are in the system. Now, some of these are going to be the default ones that come with Client Creator. They're not going to be editable, but you could add in your own client type. If you remember last week, I added a client type because we were doing a test, and I put no longer looking. And you can see that that's in here, and I can edit that one too. So I can go in and add a client type if I have a specific category that I want to put clients into, and then I'll be able to add them. But this is going to show you all of the client types. If you want to add another one, just like on our previous demo, we showed it, you can type in the client type and hit save, and it'll put it in this list. And if you need to edit it, you can click on the edit button. Let's say you want to change the name, you can change it right up here. If you want to delete it, you can do that as well. If you have a client assigned to this client type and you delete it, it'll put them back into a default where they will not be assigned. So you'll need to go in and reassign those clients. So, that is an option for you. I don't always recommend deleting things, especially if you've already had clients assigned to them. but you can manage your client types this way.
Okay, let me interject. Someone had a question, said, what did Rand say to send the part one or the buyer leads? Send them part one of your buyer pre-sell package. Buyer pre-sell package. Okay. I'm done, Brandon.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. No problem. Okay. So the next option is if you have to import clients. So if you have a CSV file, comma separated values, it's a database type file, and you want to import those clients into our system, this is how to do it. This is the fields that you categorize for the client to bring into the system. We include a sample CSV file here. So that you can download that. And if you want to download that, it's kind of a blank format, and you can just, paste them into this spreadsheet and then save it and then upload it. So once you have it saved on your local drive or your local computer, you'll just hit choose file and select that file. It'll process the import for you. It takes about 30 to 40 minutes for it to be formatted and show up on your client manager. But it will be uploaded there for you. If you're not sure how to do this, or you're not comfortable with this might be a little bit advanced for you. No problem at all. Just email the file to our support team, and they'll make sure that they format it and import it into your system for you so that there's no issues.
Okay, somebody just asked us how to log into Client Creator.
You go to clientcreator.com and click on member login, and that'll take you to the login screen.
And everyone at this point should have a username and password that was sent to you, correct?
Oh, absolutely. If they
Okay,
receive this email, that means this Zoom call, that means that they're in our system. So they should definitely have a login.
okay.
So we're going to move on to the export. So if you have and want to manage your client list outside of Client Creator, you can export this list. Again, it'll do the same thing. It'll provide it into a spreadsheet, a CSV format, and those are pretty common in spreadsheets or Microsoft Excel, something like that, but you can export it as well. If you want to send a blast email to everyone in your list, you can click on that email everyone here, create the subject of your message, create the body of your message. If you have multiple signatures, you can assign your signature here and hit send email. This will send to everybody in your client list. There's no categorizing this. This is just let's say you wanted to wish them a happy 4th of July for yesterday. You can do that here. You can send an email blast out to everyone. The other option here is the CRM tutorial video. This is similar to our Zoom calls, but I go through it specifically step by step, category by category in the CRM tutorial. It is a little long, but we also have it chaptered so that if you're looking for something specific, you can go right to the CRM video. You'll see where it shows how to manage your client list, how to do your lookups, how to do your email and text campaigns. So we have it categorized that way by chapters, so it's a little bit easier to find something if you're specifically looking for it.
All emails go out in your name, by the way. Someone just asked if I send a message to everyone, does it go out from me?
Correct.
And show my, yes.
It goes out with your information. That is correct. The opt-in resend. So again, we have an opt-in message that goes out to all clients. Our system will automatically send it out 3 times. After that, we can no longer send it out automatically, but you can trigger it to be resent. You would just go in here and select an opt-in resent. It will process all of your clients that have not opted in to receive an email from you. You're able to process this manually an additional 2 times. So that is a total of 5 times total that these emails will be sent out to get the client to opt in. So they haven't opted in by 5 times. Chances are they're probably not going to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the options in your menu. Now I'm going to go into the client manager and just go over some of the things here. Obviously, the top thing here is the total clients. You can see I have 2 total clients listed in here. The next is the search. We covered it briefly on the last email, but if you have a massive list or pages of clients and you want to find somebody specific, you can just type in a name and an email address, a phone number. Say if I want to do BW Christie, it'll format the list on here so that it'll just find this email address. Same thing if you wanted to put in a name, if you wanted to put in, Rand's name, it'll find that name. So if you were looking for something specific and you don't want to scroll through your entire list and you know the person's name or their email address or their phone number or even the source of the message, of the client, you'll be able to search that in here. You put that source in here and it'll search everybody that has signed up with that lead capture page.
And that really makes it easy.
Yeah, it really does. I did, again, I know I covered a couple of these, but the new progress. So if you have a new client, all of your new clients who haven't been categorized yet, you click on that, it'll sort by that. I think the other one is active. So we got Rand in the active category, but you can assign all of these into the client status as closed, working, future, so that you can sort these pretty quickly if you're looking for specific clients. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the all. It's going to list all of your clients in the system. If you're looking for lead capture page clients only, this is people who have come through your lead capture page system only. You'll click on that and it'll show only those. This will filter out anybody you've manually added or imported into our system. So this will only show those that have come through the lead capture generated website pages in your client creator account. So that's what this is for. The phone number, if you want to sort by phone number, this will pull up the information for this. You'll see that it replaced the email address with the phone number. So it'll list all of those as well. The final category here is your deleteds. Like I said, we don't have any deleted permanentlies. So if you want to come into your deleted and you go through here, and let's say you wanted to reactivate somebody, you can go into view them and you'll be able to pull up their information. And there's a little restore client here. And once you restore the client, it'll put them back into your active list. So it takes them out of the deleted and will put them right back into your primary client list.
Can't tell you how valuable that is to be able, because sometimes we delete people by accident or we get premature about it or we get mad at them. No, I'm sure that doesn't happen. But
Yeah,
to be able to just go back and restore anything that you deleted is such a great option.
Yeah, we don't really have, with databases, we try to keep all of the information. It's not in your current database, but it's still in your system so that you'll always have access to it. Like Rand said, you can have a client that can come back a year or two later and you want to move them back into the active status. You'll be able to do that pretty easily with Client Creator. So we're going to go back to the active list here. I'm just going to go through a couple of options that you have here. If you select a client, you'll see that you have boxes that come up here. So you can do some quick maintenance on these clients as you select them. If you want to email that client, you can click on here. It'll bring up a little open thing, send the email form for you to do. If you want to send them a text message, same thing. You can come right in here and send them a text message. If you want to change their status, you can do that here. Change the client type, you can do that here. And you can also delete this client. So some quick additional menu options that are available here if you just select the checkbox to the right of them. If you do both of them, you'll be able to send an email to both of these clients by clicking that, or send a text message to both of these clients by doing that. Again, change status, change type, or delete them both. So if you do multiple selects, you're going to be performing these functions on all of your selected clients. Okay, so we're going to go back into the client here, and I'm going to click on the view and go into the details of the client. And while that loads, we're going to go over the different sections and the information. So last week I covered a lot of this primary information on how to edit that, but I'll quickly go through that again. If you have information that you want to add, let's say they provide additional information to you after you reach out to them, you can quickly go into here and update all of their information. If you have this information, put it in here, you can save it, and it'll update the system in your client creator CRM. Again, I know we covered the client type, client status, and home value in our previous one. Go down here to your preferences. The source is going to be the source of the lead capture page. And again, if they provide any additional information in the lead capture page, that'll be populated here. Or if you receive that information from the client, again, you can always go in here and edit that information and put that in as needed.
Now,
You'll see that-
is your system working enough to pull up a home value?
Yeah, absolutely. It should pull up. I think I have one on your page. Yep, I have an address in here. So if we click on home value, we'll click on that information and it should pull up it's blocking it. Oh, no, it didn't.
There it
Actually, came
is.
through. Yeah, it did come through.
That's
Okay,
my home. Yeah, that is part
So
of it.
it pulls up an aerial view of the property, provides the information on the property, the address, the value, rental estimate. This one's pulling from Zillow for the data, and it's telling you that right here. We have a couple other database options. One is realtor.com, one is Trulia, and another one can be public data. This is a little fewer between, but there are some states and some areas that are a no report area. So if they don't have this information available, it'll pull from public data or record data. So they're the different types of sources that are pulled into the information. Again,
Now
lot size.
Let me just add that this is an estimate of value. Like currently, my home has a value of $1.5 million. This shows 908,000. That's kind of far off. But there's a place where we can adjust it, and we'll go through that in a little bit. But you want to remember to let people know that any online estimate of value or CMA is nothing more than an estimate of value, an estimate of value. To give them a current and better look at their value, you want to use an MLS home valuation, a CMA, that you get through where the most valuable and the most current information is, which is through your multiple listing service. You can do a CMA in there. I forget what they're called in the Cloud CMA. And it is beautiful and it's many pages and it's much more detailed and up to date. So I don't know why unless my home's gone down $500,000 since we bought it. It could be. So, but I just want to mention that because you always want to make sure it's an estimate of value. Okay.
Okay, so obviously it has a description, the owner status, so forth and so, bedrooms and baths. So, it just provides the summary of the home value for this client. So, so in the preferences, we're going to go back into the preferences. You'll notice that on here, there's a couple different options, but the one here is the Monday morning coffee. One question we get asked a lot is how do I put a client on the Monday morning coffee messages? You don't need to. By default, everyone, even people you import in or add in, gets added to the Monday morning coffee campaign. You don't need to do anything. The only thing you would need to do is if they opt out or they contact you and say, take me off this list, you could just come in here and click on the edit and remove them, hit no. For the Monday morning coffee. But as by default, everybody that's added into your client CRM is entered into your Monday morning coffee. So you don't need to do a thing other than, once they're added in, email address, phone number, they're automatically added back in. So we're going to come up now to the notes section. This is a quick task or a message system that you can put on yourself. So if you add, say you get this client in and you reach out to them and, you're going to call them back or, it gives you a note of what they're looking for, or whatever it may be. You just come in here, click on the tab. Let's say we're going to do a test message. whatever your message is and hit save. It'll put the message in, and then notice in the bottom here, your summary, your notes, your message is going to come in here. You can add as many notes as you want. Let's say you had a message from the Thursday, you're going to call to follow up. Hit save. It'll display all of your messages in your system. The most recent will be at the top. The older ones will be down below. If you want to modify any of these messages, pretty simple. Click on modify. It'll pull up the message. You can change the date, change the message, or you can delete it. And then basically just hit save and it'll update the information. Now, this format where it's up here and then it's going to show down here is going to be similar for all these. So these two tabs, these two areas pretty much go hand in hand. So I am going to add a task. Now, a task is going to be something that applies to your calendar. You can add a task that you're going to do with this client, or you have an appointment set up with this client, or something you need to follow up with. So you have these three different types here. You have a call, you have an appointment, or you have something to do. So let's say we're going to do a call, and we're going to do a call on today at 2:25 p.m. And then end date's going to be the same thing at 3:25 p.m., whatever it may be. So we're going to call Rand. And now you can be notified by email if you want to be updated on this. You can be notified by a text message. And this option here is to notify the client. So let's say you want to remind the client that you have a call scheduled today at 2:25 p.m. You would select this notify client. So this is going to send them an email and a text just by selecting this. So whatever information you have in your client database in here, it's going to send them a notification just so that they're aware of the upcoming appointment. The days to remind, let's say you wanted to remind you and the client 2 days before, you put a 2 in there, and it'll start sending out the message 2 days prior to the message up until the day that the actual event occurs. So it would send it yesterday, it would send it today, up until the event. If you want to change that to 3 days, you can do that here. And then you basically just going to click save. It'll save the information. And then if you click on this little tasks here, you're going to see that it's got a little call option calendar here now. And it tells you have an upcoming call, the date, the information. You got a summary here. You got to call Rand. Again, if you want to modify this, you come into it. It'll pull up the information. You can modify that. Let's say we don't want to notify the client anymore. You can just uncheck that and hit save. It'll update that information and modify it back down to here. So let's say the call comes through and you're done. You can just pretty much mark this as done and it'll pull it off of your system. Now, it will still show on your history of this client, but it'll just be off of the current tasks that are due for this client. So you can do that again, call, appointment, to do. You can schedule these out as needed. Each client can have their own appointment schedule as well. So we did do the send email last week, and I covered this briefly because this is probably one of the quick response options that you're going to want to do if you want to send them out a message or a text message. So we have the send email and send text message. So that is available here. Now, one thing I didn't cover last week is that you can track your emails that are sent to this client. So I'm going to be trucking this one. You'll see it's going to show up all of the messages that are sent out. It's going to show you the Monday morning coffee messages that are shown out. So it's going to show you the status of the system. If you click on the view to the right of this, it'll pull up all of the details for the message. Shows you that it was delivered, the subject of the message. Now, due to restrictions, we cannot display the actual message itself, the body of the message. So that's considered a private content and is not transmitted in what's called a API. But you can just check the message of on the details to show that it was delivered, that it was sent out. If the client opens up this email, this is going to say opened. So it's going to show you that the client it was not only delivered, but it was opened as well.
And that's another service that you would actually have to pay for to know if your emails were delivered or if they were open. This is a great way to check your open rates. I can't tell you how valuable it is to me anyway. And I'm sure it is to you. Wouldn't you want to know that? I would. Okay.
Yep, same thing with the text messages. So if you're sending them out a text drip campaign, we probably didn't send anything out to this message to this phone number. But if you had text message that are sent out, you would just click on the text message. It'll show the same thing that the emails did. This one has a different little bit of a different feature, has outgoing and incoming. Actually, I want to go to my other client. I think I might have a text message on the other one. Let me double check. So I'm in the other client. I'm just going to click on text messages here and see if anything comes up. Yep, I do. Okay. So I do have a couple of email messages that are going out. You can see some are delivered, some are undelivered, depending on what the message was. This is sending an email address, so that's why it's undelivered to the cell phone, but it's highlighted. Some of these can also be queued. Some text messages have to get queued in order to send. So these messages that are going out today, 7/5, they get queued by the cell carrier. They go through an approval process. We are going to get it approved. It will get approved with our system because we have such a high rating on our messages, and then it will be delivered to the client. So if there is a delay in that, know that it will go through the system once the carrier processes its approval status. So this does happen, but it is usually temporary. I would say within the hour, it will get resent to sent to the client.
Okay, let me just clarify something for everyone. You do not have to pay for finding out if your emails are delivered, not delivered, and so on. It's part of the system. Everything you see is included in here. Okay, so there's not an extra fee for that at all. Someone just asked that question, so I wanted to
Yep,
answer.
no problem. Yep, it's all
Okay.
included in your system. And again, I can't point this out enough. We go through, we make sure that everything that our system does, from email messages to text messages, are by the letter of the law, so to speak. We have to ensure that our messages are going to get delivered to the clients with a very high rating. And, I know sometimes it can be frustrating if you have to go through a process to have them opt in, but the benefit is that the messages are going to get delivered. Same thing with text messages. We make sure that that all of your text messages are going to get through to the carriers. We cross-check them to make sure that the phone numbers are valid phone numbers and information is valid that's going out, to make sure that they're valid messages. Because every time it's an invalid message, it's obviously a negative effect. So we want to make sure we're doing our due diligence to ensure that we have the highest delivery. So the text messages that you'll see here, it says outgoing and then also incoming. If you have incoming messages that are coming into your system, you can track those here. These messages are going to come into the client creator system and they're going to go directly to your cell phone. So regardless of what goes out, if they reply to the message or they text back from the message that they receive in Client Creator, it's going to come to your phone that you have on record with Client Creator. However, if you're not sure or you want to track the messages, or maybe you accidentally deleted the text messages in your phone, you can come right here and it'll show you all of the messages that were coming in from this client. So you can see up there, you'll see all the information. So again, you can track outgoing, you can track incoming to make sure that you have all the communication for your clients. The last tab here is the Monday Morning Coffee tab. This again will show you all of the messages that are going out on your Monday Morning Coffee. This is a brand new client I just entered today, so there hasn't been a Monday Morning Coffee, but this will show you all of the Monday Morning Coffee tracking, if they opened it, if it was delivered, if they clicked on the link. So all of those details will be shown in the Monday Morning Coffee. It will look similar to this one as well. Let me see if I have. I thought I saw Monday Morning Coffee, but that might have been on my other. Oh no, it's here. Yeah, so it'll show that information all on here. So it'll
When
look
there's no
similar to
light
this.
buzz, you need to, he doesn't know the time exactly.
Hold on one second. Somebody's got to be muted.
Maybe you want to let me know?
Yeah. Want to call me and let me know?
Mute.
You check with the guy, maybe.
Okay, we should be good. Rain, you still got me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so that covers these. So again, the notes, the tasks, the emails, the text, the Monday morning coffee, all of that is covered in here. The next section is your email and text campaigns. And again, I know we covered this briefly last week, but I just want to go into it in detail. These email and text campaigns are signed up or are applied through the lead capture page system. So if they were entered or this client is from a lead capture page, they'll automatically be assigned an email and a text campaign. And you'll see that's listed here. This one is the 4-step home buyer. If you want to come in and view this information or modify this information, you'll basically just click the modify button to the right of the campaign and it'll pull up all of the information. It'll show you the messages that are going to go out, the date that they're going to go out, the subject of the message, and all of the details of the message. So you'll see that this one has a couple of messages in it that are scheduled to go out. If you want to, you can change any of these messages. Just click on edit. It'll pull up the message. You can make your edits and then click save and it'll automatically update. So let's say you want to add something. There's a personal message you want to add to this next message for this client. You can add that here and then just click the save button. It'll automatically update the campaign and it'll reflect the change in your email campaign. If you want to put them on a completely different email campaign, this one's not applicable for them. So you talk to them and maybe they're not looking to buy buy a home right now, but you want to put them on a general buyer campaign. You can hit the change campaign. It'll pull up all of your campaigns here. You just click the down arrow and just say you want to put them in a buyer prospect campaign. We could select that and hit save, and that'll change all of the messages for them. They'll change all of their campaigns. So you'll see now change the subject, the dates, all of that information. So it's pretty easy to reassign them to new campaigns, new messages. After you speak to them, you can modify it as needed. And again, if you want to change any of these messages, you'll just basically come in and click the edit button and make the change and then hit save. Pretty simple. So there is an option to add another campaign on this. So it has a current campaign on it now, but let's say you want to add another campaign. I don't typically recommend this because you don't want to have too many email messages going out at one time, but we can add it if we wanted to. You would just come in here, similar to the other option, select the campaign that you want to add them to. Let's say I want to put them back on a 4-step home buyer. So now you'll add that to the system and I'll add that to their campaign. So now you'll see they're on the buyer prospect campaign and they're on the 4-step home buyer. So they'll be receiving multiple messages. Sometimes this can work if it's a maintenance campaign that they're on and you want to add them onto a little bit more of an aggressive campaign. Those two messages can go hand in hand, but usually we recommend only having them in one campaign at a time. And just to show you this, I'm going to come in here and let's say I want to remove this one. I'm just going to hit the delete button. It takes them off of that campaign.
Okay, Brandon, let me interject something here because I see a lot of questions about this. The number of leads that we generate for you using Google AdWords is usually directly proportional to the budget that you give us to spend. I wish that weren't true. I wish a $50 budget would be all you need. And then people with $2,000 budgets, they get the same things. Now, I would say this, Google AdWords, just like any marketing, it takes time for it to build up. I don't know why that is. I've never been able to figure this out, but I know this, marketing is not an instant event. It's an ongoing process. And so it takes time to build up your database. You are not going to get these people to respond to you. They just don't. But as long as they don't opt out, you're responding to them, you're serving their needs, and that's the most important thing of all. So sit tight. And somebody asked one other question. I think it was about unverified lead. I don't remember right now. I apologize to you. But I just wanted to address that. So sit tight. It's going to take a little bit of time for it to mature there. So if you don't think you're getting enough leads, contact us and we'll modify things for you. Okay? All right, go ahead, Brandon.
Yep, no problem. So going on to the text campaigns is very similar to the email campaigns system. You click on the text campaigns, it'll show you the text campaign that's in there. Again, you can go in and modify the text campaign system. You can edit the message on here. If you want to change the campaign, it'll pull up your text message campaigns. You hit save here, it'll modify it, change it. So you have all of that options, same options. You'll notice the text messages are a lot shorter because they're text messages. They don't have formatting. They don't have the kind of content that an email campaign would have. It's pretty much simple. And typically the default text campaigns will only send about 4 to 5 messages at max to the clients, and they're spaced out a little bit more. Because text messages obviously go directly to the client's phone, and we don't want to be overly aggressive with those messages. But if you feel that you want to, change that or add some text messages, you can also do that as well. Same thing if you wanted to add an additional text campaign, click on Add Campaign. It'll pull the information up, and you can hit Save, and it'll put them on 2 campaigns. Again, don't recommend that, but it's an option. If you have them on 2 different campaigns, you don't want to remove one, just again, click the delete button next to it. Again, we covered this a little bit last week. We have the credits for the lookup tool. Last week it did not work because it was blocking, and I think it should be processing now for me. I will double check. Yep, okay, so it pulled up all the information. You see how fast that was. Just based on an email address and a phone number, pulled up all of these additional email addresses, phone numbers, the company. It also brought up my Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest. So you have so many different options that just appeared, from contacting, one little phone number or an email address from the client, from the lead capture page.
And if you have an unverified client, someone just asked about an unverified client, please go in, and I would do the lookup for every lead that you get, because it will show their name and address, phone numbers that were ever associated with that particular address and client.
Yeah, and an unverified client is only saying that they haven't validated the information. Not saying the information is not still good. It's just saying that they didn't go through the 2-step verification process. So you can still reach out to them, through Client Creator if they've opted in, or directly through your own email system. There's no reason why you can't email them directly from your own email system with the information that they provided in the lead capture page. As well as if you do a lookup and you have their social media accounts, by all means you can absolutely reach out to them. So the verified information is more along the lines of they went through the 2-step verification process, and we see that they validated their information successfully. If you process a lookup and our system is able to look that up as well, it will also be verified because our system is verifying that that's what the information that's being provided for. So there's multiple ways to reach out to these clients. And again, if you have their email addresses or their phone numbers, by all means, you can reach out to them, outside of the Client Creator system if need be. If you need to contact them directly through your social media account, then by all means, go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Whatever you need to do.
One more time. When someone comes in through one of your lead capture websites, they are automatically set to one of the pre-existing email campaigns. It's an email campaign that would address that particular lead capture website client type. So if you generate a seller lead, it will drop it into automatically, you don't have to assign it to them, automatically drop them into a corresponding email campaign based on what that type of client needs or wants, based on which one of your lead capture websites they go to. Okay, I just wanted to address that. No, you do not have to add them automatically unless the lead didn't come in through one of your lead capture website. Okay, And
Yep, that's
be-
absolutely correct. If you add them manually, you'll assign them to a league, in a campaign. So if you add somebody in manually, like going back to where we were in the beginning of the tutorial. If you add a client in, you put a client in here, you're gonna put this client in, I'm just gonna do it real quick. I'm not gonna put anything, test that client. And I'm gonna save it. Going to add the system. You see the test clients in here. It's manually added. So we know it didn't come from a lead capture page. So we go into this view, and this is where you can add in the email campaigns and the text campaigns. It will automatically send out a verification to them. It'll validate their information. You'll be able to add a campaign to them. So you'll just click right here, add a campaign. We're going to choose what kind of email, let's say that they're a general buyer, and hit save. And it'll automatically assign them an email campaign to them. And again, so they're just going to be just set up just like they were a lead capture page with an email campaign. Same thing with a text campaign. You come right in here, add a text campaign to them, hit save, and it'll assign them to a text campaign. Again, they are automatically entered into your Monday Morning Coffee. You added them in, so they're automatically enrolled. So you don't need to do anything there. So even if you didn't assign them an email or text campaign, they're still going to get your Monday Morning Coffee from you. So that is by default. But this is
Now-
only for clients that do not come through the lead capture pages and the ones that you either imported or added manually.
Okay, I know we got a lot of questions that have been asked that haven't been answered yet. If you haven't had your question answered, send an email to support@clientcreator.com. All of your emails will get answered. Okay. And those of you asking about how many ads you've received or didn't receive, I think we addressed that. But if you still want to ask a question, no worries. And those that said, gosh, I see the same ad as mine posted in Facebook. I see that on another agent's Facebook page. If you want to address that real quick, Brandon, or should we wind it up?
Sure, I can address that. I mean, we do have the same marketing type of platforms, but we don't do any competition marketing. So if we're doing first-time home buyers for one realtor on the beginning of the month, we might not have the same one for another realtor for until the next month or another date. So we don't have any competition for the ads that are being posted or marketed at particular times. So if you have another realtor that's in your same area, they're not going to get the same ads that are going out that you have. And if they are, they're going to be on different times. So we'll have somebody's ad run through Monday to Wednesday, and then yours might start Thursday and run to Sunday or something like that. So again, our team will manage that so that even if they're in the same demographical area, there'll be no competition on your ads that are running.
Okay, let's wind it up for today. Did you have anything else you wanted to add, Brandon?
No, I think we covered the CRM, and next week I'll be going over the the email and text campaign system.
Okay, very good. We'll see you next week. Not at the same time. We'll do it on Tuesday at our normal time. Thank you very much. Have a great week. Remember, any unanswered questions, send an email to support@clientcreator.com. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.